Right, welcome guys. Just had this come through the post, just literally seconds, so I thought I'd get on with the video and we'll see what's come through from the judge and we'll have a look and see how these bits and pieces have come out. Looking forward to this. Hopefully he's done his job right, as you've seen from the other parts of the videos. So let's see what we've got. Whoa, Scully. There he is, old Albert. Yeah, these look cool. There's another skull. Yeah, I'll take it back what I said about him. Looks, on first glance, looks like it's a good job's been done. I'm going to be looking forward to trying to cast these. A little bit of clean up need to do a little bit of clean up. Maybe some filing there. Let's have a look at Einstein. He's very cool. Very, very cool. Looking forward to that. Some nice details in the face. Would even make a nice side profile as well. I think we'll try and do him in 3D. And we'll try and do him just a cast flat one. Maybe the same with him. This is going to be a bit more tricky because it's, as you can see, it's open. It's got some gaps in. You can see that. But I could try and plug them gaps somehow, I'm guessing. But we'll have a go. We'll have a go with all three. I like this skull though. I like the patterns. Really, really pleased. I think judges have done a good job there on the 3D printing. So what I think I'll do now, crack on and show you how I go about doing the casting for these. And fingers crossed, hopefully I can make a good mould and an impression, and we'll see where we go. Right, I thought I'd give you a bit more closer up detail, because I think that last one might have been a bit blurred because I couldn't get the camera to focus. So hopefully you're getting these in focus now. Oh, there you go, there's the one skull. That's my favourite. I'm really happy with that. I think she's done a good job. As I mentioned, some clean up to do. And there he is, skull 2, and the star himself, old Albert there. Come out very nicely. Going to be interesting to see how much detail I'm going to get. He's pretty detailed, so it'll be interesting to see what we can get out of it. But love his hair. So there you go. There's the 3 that we're going to attempt, and I'll get a crack on with that now and show you. Right, you need quite a few bits and pieces to do the casting that we're going to do, what we've talked about. You can spend quite a bit of money doing this, but I like to do it the DIY way. Now the first bit, as you can see, just made a little wooden frame, a little square wooden frame, if you can see that. Just some screws, cut some wood. Not the best woodworker, but it does the job. Because basically what we do with that, we put the sand in, which I'll show you the process, but we put the sand in, get it nice and level both sides, and then we actually make the impression with our mould and just push it in, take it out very carefully, and then we pour in. But I will show you that process, and this is just one way of doing them rather than actually buying them. I've got different sizes which I've just knocked up. You can see very easy. Scrap pieces of wood which I've just found. There's a skip next door, thank you next door, and I just took the pieces of wood, cut them to size, and just done that. And that's okay if you're just doing the impression, if you're not trying to do a 3D whole around thing. But with the Einstein and the skull, we want to do it 3D as well as like a bar finish. So these are fine for your impression, little flat back items. But when you come to do the impression, you need a bit of a kit. Again, you can make these out of wood, but I'm not that skillful, so I've actually bought this one. And as you can see, this is what they call a flask. It's got a hole in the top there, and it comes in 2 parts. As you can see, now these do have special names, and I can't remember what they're called. I think one's called the cope, and one's called the other. I'm not sure. One's top, one's bottom, basically. You know, let's we'll do it our way, the punk way, which is normal. Right. So bottom and top, or top and bottom, whichever way. But basically, the way this works, you both fill these up with sand. You put your item in, and then that's filled up with sand. Push your item in. You put that one on top. Fill it all up with sand, and then you separate them. And then obviously you got your item still stuck in, but you got the impression there. Take the item out, impression there, and then you've also got this bit here where the metal's going to flow in and fill it up. So then basically when you put these two halves together and you stand it up, you clamp them together and then you pour down that hole, and hopefully if it all goes to plan you'll have a nice cast after it, and you just have a big wobbly knobbly bit on the top which you cut off, which I think, again, looking at videos, I think they call that the spur. I think it's a spur, I'm not quite sure, but they've got a fancy name for it, but it's the knob on the top, and you just lob that off and you're there. So that's the actual items that you need for casting, but also you actually need the material itself, the sand, and it's a special type of sand. It's called Petrobond clay or casting clay, and I'll show you some of that now. Right, here's a box full of that, if you can quite see that. I got some other bits and pieces in, and basically this is the stuff, and it just forms a nice ball when you squash it, as you can see. Forms a nice thing and it just breaks nicely, and when it's in the flask or the thing you can put your impression in and make your impression. Now I've got that to help me to chop it up because you need it nice and fine, and also I've got the Mrs. sieve, if you can see that there. That's for when I'm sieving it to get it in. Spoon to push it through. So again, I'll show you this on the actual mould, but do that and it comes out nice and fine. You want a nice fine sand over the top of the item you're trying to cast. And I've also got my big rubber mallet for hammering it down. So basically that's all you need to do the sand casting part. Very simple. Again, you get all these bits and pieces off the internet quite cheap. You get even these wooden things I've made. You can buy these, but I just, for buying them when you can knock them up yourself, just one screw, or you got. You look, it's not even square, but it'll do the job. I'm convinced it'll do the job, and we'll see whether it will or not. So there's the bits and pieces you need for the sand casting. Right, we'll get on with the actual making the casting mould now with the sand and our frame. And I think the first one we'll have a go at, we'll try this one first, this skull, and we're just going to fill it up and try and do that. So the first job we need to do is get some sand in here. Now it doesn't really matter how you do this, it's a messy job, whichever way you do it, it's a messy job. So we just fill it up, no science to it really, just chuck it in. Push it down. Now with this it's very much trial and error and getting used to it, because you want it pushed down so it's solid, but you don't want it so it's so hard you can't actually get the impression. It's very much trial and error, I believe. You've got to keep pushing it in, trying and trying. There we go. There. I've seen lots of videos about this and people do it all different ways. I like the back of the spoon, I've found. Push it down. Let's get some more in. I'm just breaking it up so there's no big lumps. I've already sieved some of this, quite a lot of this. So it's pretty fine. When you actually buy it, depends obviously where you get it from. Mine come in like shrunk wrappers, and it was like pretty solid chunks of it, and big solid chunks, so I've had to like break it all up. Now that feels pretty hard, but I can still get my thumb impression, as you can see. So I think we're nearly there with that now, because we'll turn it over then and use the other side. So let's just flatten that slightly. I think this is how to do it. Try and look profesh. There we go. Oh dear, make it rub over. So here we go, like that. So now we'll try and get that turned over. Making a mess. Let's move some of this. I mean, it is a messy job, as you can see. Right, so let's have a look. Now, you see that now? Nice flat surface there. I've got a bit of a line, I don't know what that is. So now what we'll try and do is push this little guy in. And what I've seen online, people use a lot of powder. So I've got me, don't tell me daughter, I've nicked my daughter's I don't know what you call that big brush thing for the boat race for the face. Right, so what we need to do is, what I've found is they use talcum powder or some type of white powder on the actual front of the skull or whatever the casting, because then it comes out easier. I'm not 100% sure how it actually works, but anyway, so let me dust got to be some science behind it. So let's dust that on. There we go. And we'll give that a little bit of a, there we go. Right, so now what we're going to try and do is push in into that to make the impression. Let's see how we go. So we need it like that. Oh, now he's going in. Now I don't know how far I need to go in, so it might be a bit of trial and error. Right, so as you can probably see, some stuck to the inside of his eyes, which is okay, and we've got it in there. So out the eyes it pops, so that's probably using that thing. Right, I can just tilt it. As you can see, there's the impression in the sand now. It's quite difficult to actually see even with the naked eye because of the light. I'll see if I can get some more light on it, see if I can. Can you see the impressions any better? Not be able to see it. So that's the impression of him. I mean, it looks like it's cracking at the sides a little bit there. It hasn't really gone as well as I wanted. So I think what we'll do, we'll have another go at that. We'll give it another go, and I think I'm going to pack the sand slightly tighter. I think I was a bit too loose with the sand on that one. Not sure about his eyes. Inside his eyes there's a little pattern, so I think we might have to smooth them down ourselves after. We can do that, so I'm going to have another quick go now. We'll get rid of this and we'll give it another go. Very much trial and error until we get what we wanted, but I wasn't happy with that. It didn't look like I wanted it. So we'll have another go. We'll have another go, folks. Let's get some of this in. There we go. So it's just a fine line between squashing it in and overpacking it, because obviously if you overpack it and push it in too hard, then you can't actually push the item in and you might break your impression mould that you're trying to do. So it really is trial and error, and when you haven't done it that often, it's yeah, it's like any job, I suppose. Experience, the more you do, the better you get. Now that's feeling like it's pushed in a bit. Right, that's feeling like it's pushed in nice, so I'll turn that over. Oh, there we go. Still, I'm getting a line. It must be from that paper. That's so annoying. Oh. There we go. There we go. No problem. Right, so let's have another go now. Let's get him. Let's get some of this white powder on him again. Let's powder him up. Let's have another go. See if we can do it. Same thing again. And he goes. Ah, now that seems a bit better. Now that's a shame, because that, if you see, one stayed in and now this one come out, so that's a bit of a pain. What a nuisance that is. Right, we'll do him again. We'll do him again. Let's get some more sand. So you want them either both to break out or both to stay in. Whichever way, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because then you get uniform. It just looks a bit silly if there's one and not the other. So there we go. Push it down a bit more. Try a bit of a harder. I'm going to push it in a bit harder than I did before this time. Let's see what happens. That's pretty solid now. So that's pretty solid. Let's get it dusting. Right, let's have a look at me, man. Oh, oh dear. Don't worry about that, we'll get rid of that later. Powder everywhere. Right, let's have a go. Impression number 3. Oh no, that definitely feels harder to go in. I just got to be careful that I don't actually break Judge's good work here. Right, let's see. Ah, now that looks slightly better. Although that does look like, let me just give this a little blow here. It does look like that's coming off slightly, which is a nuisance. But look, that looks a nice impression. Are you getting that? Come get some. That's better. I'm thinking that might be a good one to fit. I just don't know how the pour is going to come round there. It should look pretty cool if I can get it. It's pretty thin there. Well, there you go. There's a skull. What I'll do, I might try that one, and if I don't have success, then we'll try it again, and I'll push down a bit deeper with the mould to get more of an outline around it. But so basically, that's the impression mould for that. So now we'll try this chap, and we'll see how we get on with old Albert. So I'll put this aside, and we'll try one with him. Back in a sec. Right guys, we'll crack on now. We've got old Albert, old Albie. We'll try and get him done. So again, same technique as we used with the old skull. Again, it'll be trial and error, I'm guessing, to see whether I can get enough the pressure and how much I get packed in. So let's have a play with old Albie and see how we get on. Let's try and get some of this mess out of the way. As I keep saying, it is a messy job, and luckily the missus is at work, so she can't moan, can she? So let's get filled up. Let's see how his goes. It's exactly the same process. Now there probably is a lot better way of doing this, so if anyone out there knows, drop us a line please. So that's it. There we go. Getting your fingers in. Now I have seen people use hammers and all sorts to hammer this down, but because of the camera setup and the way it is, if I start hammering, we're going to be all over the shop. So I'm just going to use my fingers. Right, let's see. There we go. There we go. And this time I think we'll try something a bit different. I've been turning it over. This time I think I'll go with that, put it in that way. So I've been turning it over, we're going to go with that. Let's just tighten this out of the way. So as you can see, we'll get the powder on again, give it a little brush. There you go. Old Albert. Now he's quite detailed, so I'm unsure of exactly what we're going to get, how am I going to get it, how is it going to go. Lots of fine details in the front, but I mean with this one, we're just doing the front impressions, and obviously we'll use the flash to try and do the actual 3D like for like copy, but just thought it'd be interesting to see if we could do some almost like stylised like flat back bar things. Right, here we go. Let's see how we get on with this one. I'll just clean my hands off because I'm having little bits and pieces dropping which we don't want. Right, here we go then. Here we go. Got that on camera, let's see. No, I think we need to go a little bit deeper. Right, it's pushed in, I just don't know how deep, if we've gone deep enough. If I can just, so you've got a bit of him in. I'd say we're about, oh, I'm not very good at, an eighth of the way in, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit more. See if I can go push a bit more. Now that's about as far as I can do it. So I've seen people do that online. I don't know what it does, but there you go. Whoa, look at that. A little bit stuck on his tash and his, but I'm really pleased with that one. Look at that. Judge has done the business with the old mould. That was very good. Now that seems to me a lot better than the skull. I don't know whether you can get it because it's quite deep. You might be able to see, but that's come out really well. A couple of little stretch lines there, but that's fine. When I pour, we're going to get that fine. That'll go in fine. His head might come out nice. It's just whether we'll get any of his shoulders, but we might just get his head might just be perfect actually. A bit of change of plan. Now I've seen what we're looking at. Forget the shoulders. We'll just have his head. If I just pour up to about there and don't let it run off, but we could try both actually, because when that fills up, it is going to naturally run, and then it will go like that. So we could be able to get it. We might be able to get it again. This is very much trial and error, but I'm pleased how that come out. First push, come out nicely. Just a little bit loose inside, but yeah, I'm happy with that, and I think we'll go with that one because it looks like it's come out nice. See his hair there. So yeah, we'll go with that one. And now next, I think, well, what we'll try next, we'll try him again, but we'll try it in the flask, in the 3D, see if we can get the 3D one, which is again, never ever done it before, so I don't know how that's going to go. I've watched a few videos, so of course, like everybody, you think you're an expert, so we'll give that a crack. So I'll be back in a sec. Right guys, just a quick update before I do the actual pour. I was going to do the 3D one in the flask of old Albert Einstein, but I thought what I'd do is try and do these first, just the little impressions first. So what I've done another one of each. So there's Albert, and then I've done another one here which is a lot deeper. You can get that, yeah. So hopefully now we've got 2 bites of the cherry of these. I'm going to try and get these done first, and then we'll have a go at the other one. And I've done the same with the skull. That's the original one that you saw me do, and I've just done another one off camera, exactly the same process, but going a bit deeper. I think you can get that. So I just thought I'd show you those. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to heat up the furnace, get some silver going. I'll show you all that process, and we'll just see how we get on with these, and then we'll try the big old 3D of both of them. But yeah, as you can see, just gone a bit deeper. Gone a bit deeper just to see if we get any better results. Again, trial and error. So I'll see the rest of you silver punks over by the pouring bench. Right guys, welcome to the bench. As you can see, I'm here. Well, I say the bench, it's the garden shed. But yeah, here we are. Got the setup. As you can see, I've got the mould, the first mould of the skull that we got done. As you can see, that's sitting there. And I've got the grain. This is silver grain here, raring to go. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to weigh out some grain and get the furnace on and start melting, getting ready for the pour. Now what I like to do, I've already used this crucible once. I like to weigh my crucible just to see how much loss we've had, because I don't like to overuse them, because they can crack and you can have problems. So this one's now 291 grams, and when I first used it, it was 300 grams, so it's lost 9 grams. So I've had an inspection, looks pretty good, alright for another pour. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get some grain loaded into there. I'm going to do, because it's just that, we've got the other one similar, I'm going to do 300 grams of grain. So I'm going to get 300 loaded in, and I'll come back to you once that's up to temperature. I'm going to set it for 1080, I'm not sure what that works out in other money, but 1080 on there, and that's going to be my pouring temperature for this first tester skull, the prototype skull. And as you know, we've got 2 goes at this. This is the first one I did, and I've got the second one waiting down there, which is a bit deeper, so we'll see which comes out better. And we'll do the skulls, and then we'll get on and we'll do Albert Einstein. So I'll come back to you when that's up to temperature and I'm ready to pour. I'll switch it back on and we can see how it goes. Right, silver punks, just coming up to temperature now. We're at about 1070, so we're almost at our target, 1080, where I like to pour at. So now I'm just going to heat up. I've got some MAP gas. What I like to do, I like to heat up these first, the tongs, so these are a bit warm so it doesn't have any problems when I pull the crucible out. So I'm going to heat these up with a bit of MAP gas and come back with you, get the crucible out, and we'll pour our first one and we'll see what happens. So I'm just going to heat this up now. So I'm just heating them up. Right, okay, so they've come to temperature now, they're nice and warm. So, right, we're near enough there. There you go, nice and glowing. So you're now going to pour in there and see what happens to this one. So this is first pour, silver punk first pour, experimental. Here we go. Oh, look at them flames. Pop that back in there. Got some flames on the go. Cooling nicely. I could just look at it for hours. There we go. Now what we'll do now, I'll turn him over and then we'll get him quenched, and I'll show him, pop him in the water if I can. Let's see if I can. Oh, hot still going hot. I'll leave him there for a second. I'll turn the camera around now and try and get it on the quench. So just bear me a second, trying to do this in gloves. Right, now we're getting quenched and we can have a look at him then. So there was the quench. Oh, there we go. Not sure how well you're getting that. What I'll do, I will show you obviously a bit close up, but fresh out the pour, fresh out the furnace. And there he is. Not too shabby, not too bad. So I'll pop him over here for a sec and we'll get back and we'll try the second pour now in the next one, which was a bit deeper. If you remember, I'd done 2 lots. One was a bit deeper of an impression. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and we'll try that one now. Let's just pull the camera up. So I'll move that and we'll do that one straight away and see how we get on. So yeah, you can see him. Just move it over slightly. Right then, here we go then, the second pour in the deeper one. Glowing nicely still. There we go. Here we go, punks. Oh, got the flames again. Flaming nicely again. There we go, look at that glow. Look at that glow. Isn't it just the best thing ever? I don't know if you're getting that better with my hand there or not, blocking a bit. It's just the reflections coming through the window, but there you go. Right, again we'll do the same thing again. I'll flip him over in there and then we'll try and get him a quench for you so you can see. Oh, oh, flaming still. Still got the flames on. My word. Right, let's get the quench on. Let's turn you around. Right then. The quench. Oh yeah. Right, let's have a look how this one come out. Oh, warm water at the top. Oh yeah, look at him. That's what I'm talking about. Now that's a silver punk. There we go. Happy with them apples. Look at that bad boy. Judge has done the business with a mould. We'll do some better shots in a sec, so I'll get him out. What I'll do, I'll recharge the furnace. And then we'll have a look at Albert Einstein and see how we get on there. So, I'll just recharge the furnace and I'll be back with you. Right guys, here's the first pour now, which I'm going to do on old Albert Einstein. So this is the first impression that we did, that you saw. Heating these up slightly. So this was the first impression which we did. So let's see how this one goes. Nice and warm still, as you can see. Oh, look at that glow. Right, here we go, punks. Oh, look at them flames. Shut that flaming nicely. That's what we like to see. Some good flames going. Oh yeah. Got it. Looks like I've got it down the shoulders as well. So we'll see, that was a lighter one, and if you remember, the second impression I did was a lot deeper. So might have got two that's come out well, but we never know. Never know until after the quench. Right, I think that's all done on the top. Oh, maybe not. Still going slightly. Got some slight bubbling on the top. Perhaps that weren't a good idea doing that, but just started to have some little bubblings coming back on the top, which I weren't sure what's happened there. Never seen that before. Oh, flames again. Right, what I'll do, I'll turn it. Flaming now. What I'll do, I'll turn it round so you can see the quench. Still got some flames going, but I'll turn you around so we can get the quench. So right, we'll do the quench. Still got some flames. Still going. Bit violent, that one. Whew. That was a bit, I don't know what to say. Heart's racing. Right. Oh, warm water at the top. Oh, he's a chunk. It's a heavy one. Oh, look at him. Look at that. So look how we've got him. Looks like he's come out well. The impressions come out well. Got a bit on the side there. Perhaps a bit of an overpour, but I kind of like that. I kind of like that. I mean, I could always cut that off, but it's a prototype. So no, very pleased with that. So what I'll do, I'll recharge the furnace and we'll go again. We'll do it with the second impression. I'll be back with you in a sec. Right guys, here we go again with the second pour on old Albert Einstein. This is the second one we did. Just warm the tongues up. Silver temperature's 1083. So just where we want it, well, where I like it. So here we go, got the glow. Right, here we go punks, let's see how this one comes out. Let's get pouring. Oh, flames again. I've gone a little bit low on that one, perhaps I could have gone a bit more. But we'll see how he comes out. Went a little bit low. But we'll see, it's flaming nicely. Look at the colours, look at that. Oh, there we go, the cooling's starting. Here we go. Still got some good flames around the edge. Right, let's see what happens. Last time I started to get some bubbling on the tap, and it's happening again. I don't know, I don't think you'll pick it up. Just slight little couple of bubbles coming back through. I'm wondering what's that. I wonder if that's air trying to escape or something through the silver. I'm not sure why that's happening. If anyone knows why that's happening, if you could drop us a line, that'd be brilliant. But nothing too bad. Right, let's get him out and get him quenched, so we can have a look. Oh, flames, flaming now. Oh dear. This one's got the most flames, I think. What I'll do, I'll turn you around and get him quenched so we can get the flames and the smoke out the way. So I'll just turn you around. And we'll get the quench on. Right, here we go. Well, still smoking over there, so just give me one sec. Right, let's get in. Oh, warm water again. Let's oh, look at that. Look at that, the judge has done good. I'm pleased with him. Needs a bit of clean up, obviously, get the black off, but for raw out the furnace, not too shabby. Old Albert Einstein. Right guys and girls, I'll switch off now and I'll give them a quick rub over and a dry down, and I'll get the furnace turned off. And we'll get back inside and I'll show you, our first goes at them to see how we did. But yeah, pleased on the whole. I'll see you all back in a second. Right guys, I just thought I'd give you a quick update after actually doing the pours that you've seen, and this is what's come out. This is raw out the furnace. So the first one here, you can see this is the actual 3D print of the skull. So that's what we started with, what the judge made. As you can see from all angles. Now this next photo is pour one. That's the very first pour. We just pushed into the sand, and as you can see, it's got a bit on the side that didn't come out very well. It just didn't take, but it does look quite cool. I quite like the look of that. But we're going to clean it up, a bit of gear on the back there. Now this is pour number 2. As you can see, this come out very well. Very pleased with this. This was a deeper impression into the sand. So it come out a lot better. Very pleased. So again, once I've done some tidy up and clean up on that and toned it, it should look quite well, quite nice. You can see the bit of a dot on the back, which I'll get rid of. That just needs a bit of work, some sanding. Now this was the second 3D print, as you know, Albert Einstein. As you can see, it's quite detailed. Gave me a little bit of problems in the casting. When you see the next photo that shows up's the first attempt, as you can see, the face come out pretty well. Got some good details on the face, but I got that bit on the side, bit of an overpour, which is an error on my part, which I can remedy. That's not a problem. And on the back, you'll see some bumps, which happened in cooling, which I'm not sure what that is. Now this is pour number 4 overall, and this come out a lot better, as you can see. Stands up nicely and come out well. So my next job now is to get them cleaned up. So I'll do the clean up and the toning, and I'll be back and I'll show you those processes, the clean up. Right guys, here we are then. We're going to do a bit of the clean up. This is pour number 1. As you can see, it's got a bit of a spot there which we don't like. See the pink, it's almost like a pinkish stain colour. Now what I think that is, that's just some of the impurities and some of the stuff out the graphite crucible when I did the pour, and just a bit's come out. And what I like to do is clean that off. Now I've seen lots of people do this in lots of different ways. They use tumbling machines, sandpaper, files, just good hard polishing. Some people even leave it and just polish it, but we'll see if we can get it off. And I'm going to try the vinegar method. A few people online have used the vinegar method, so I'm going to try that. Bit of sandpaper. I've got some sandpaper. Now this is 3000 sandpaper. Now you've got to be careful obviously, because if you're sanding an item like that, you can put some bad lines in it and scratches, but every time you sand you will make some scratches, but this is very fine 3000 sandpaper. I mean it feels smooth to me, but hopefully it'll do the job. So I'm going to cut a little piece off, well rip I should say. Got my vinegar, bit of vinegar. This is just distilled white vinegar. Then we'll give it, oh, lovely smell. And then I've just dipped the paper in. Let's move that one out of the way, just so you can see. And I'm going to try and do this so you can see on camera. So here we go. As you can see, it's going, you're getting a bit of a grey colour. So that says to me, see a bit of a grey colour. That says to me it's probably is as I expected, a bit of graphite out the crucible when I was pouring. So hopefully I'm not shaking the camera too much as I go. Let's see if I can wipe that off for you. As you can see, that little bit's disappeared. The pinkish hue or whatever colour you'd like to call it, it's gone. So, and that's where it is. That's all come off from the grain. As you can see, the sandpaper's a bit discoloured, and I think that's sorted it. So what I'll do, I'll quickly grab the other 3 pieces that you've seen, and Ul'll go through and I'll do those. And then what I'll do, I'll then show you the next process, which will be putting it into the ultrasonic cleaner. And then once that's done, we'll think about toning, getting some different colours on them, which is quite fun. So again, this got a spot in the middle, so I'll just do these. I'll just do that. So I'll leave you to watch this, and I'll just get these done, and you can watch along. So there we go. Quite difficult to hold. Perhaps I should have had it in a vice or something. It's been a funny shape, but there we go. It's working. It's getting it off. There's that one. Now the last one, which is pour number 4, Silver Punk pour number 4 again. Same down there, so we'll get rid of that bit more vinegar. It's starting to come off. And you don't have to rub too hard, just nice and easy, targeted area, and it comes off nicely. So I'm pleased with the old vinegar method. Just a little bit still there, just a bit more targeted in between the 2 bumps there. A bit more elbow grease required. That was me saying nice and easy, and get a bit more teddy there. Get it off. There we go then. So that's those cleaned up now, ready for the ultrasonic machine. So what I'll do now, I'll go and get that set up and switched on, and I'll take you over there and you can see the ultrasonic cleaning. Right, I'll see you in a second. Right guys, we're now over at the ultrasonic cleaner. I've got them positioned in the little basket. Not sure if you're getting that. Got them positioned in the basket. There's the cleaner, and just in here, what I've got in here is some hot water and some washing up liquid, just as the cherry blossom washing up liquid. Obviously other supermarkets brands available. And what we're going to do now is give them a 20 minutes go in here. So let me just lift the basket up. Now it's pretty noisy, so watch the dons. As you can see, steam's coming off that, and it is pretty noisy. But what I'll do, I'll start it up so you can see it, and then I'll come back to you after 20 minutes once it's been done. So let's come down here and get him going. You can hear that. So that'll start to just pull away. And how that's done. So I'll be back with you in about 20 minutes as soon as that's done. Right guys, welcome back. As you can see, back up, different setup now, and I'm going to do some toning. I'm going to get these toned up to a nice colour. So what I've got here, really hot water in both. That's going to be the cleaning one. This is going to be for doing the toning. So in the cleaning one, I'm going to put some more cherry blossom liquid. We're just washing up liquid, couple of drops. There you go. And also a bit of baking powder. Now again, I'm not sure what this does, but I've seen it online and it stops the reaction of what we're going to be doing. It will stop the toning. So a little bit of that in there. Get a bit of a stir there. So it's all soapy. So that's where we'll be putting the pieces once we've toned them. Now, to actually do the toning, we're going to be using a thing called liver of sulphur, which is this, comes in this little bottle, liver of sulphur. Now it smells absolutely terrible, like rotten eggs. So we're going to put a couple of drops, 1, 2, 3, 4 in there like that. Just close that up. As I say, it does sulphur, the clues in the name, isn't it? It does smell. So it's just one of those. So I'm just giving it a stir up. There you go. So we're going to dip them in there and then plop them in there to stop the process. So the first one we're going to do, just lower it in, put it on the spoon. We've got the little skull, so pop him in. I think you can see, I'll do one at a time for you. So it's starting to go, it's going a yellowy gold colour, which that's quite nice actually. Well, right, see, you can see it's starting to go now. It's starting to go quite toned. And obviously you've got different levels of, but I want them to go pretty dark, and then we're going to polish them back so we can get the details we want. That's quite nice rainbow coloured, if you see. give it a little bit more nice iridescent finish. There you see he's gone pretty dark now, so that'll be cool. So we just pop him in there now. Hopefully that side will stop it, and this goes, we'll colour it. So we'll do the next one. As you can see, just starting to go. And while we've got him on, we'll do this one as well. We'll have a couple going at once. So we pop him in. First Einstein. So we'll have a couple going at once. But looking forward to see how his face comes out, if we get the lines and what have you. That's quite a nice colour, but again, I want it dark so I can polish it back. There we go, nearly getting there. Right, there we go. So if you can see him, nice and dark. Einstein, how's Einstein getting on? Very nice blue iridescent colour. I really like them. Like I'd prefer them toned up like this rather than just completely shiny. But I suppose each to their own. If you've got a piece of silver, sometimes you want it to look like silver. There you go. He's gone quite dark. Look, as you see. So pop him in there. And then the last one. And he goes. Oh, that's hot. Could have a little bit more water, it's not covering it all. Just tip it up a bit. That's it, so it's all covered at the same time, so we get the same effect all over. And it's very trial and error, this. Obviously, you get a different tone in the different times you leave it in. And also, I've been experimenting. I think you need to experiment with the actual heat of the water. I think the hotter the water, the quicker the reaction. So you have the water quite hot, and obviously it depends how much of the liver of sulphur drops you put in. I've only put a few in. But obviously if you put more in it'd be more potent. So let's have a look at it there. There you go. Let's give him one last dosing over. Let's get him out now. It's done its job. So I'll plop him in there. So what I'll do now, I'll just go and get rid of this because the smell is really doing my head in now. And I'll come back and I'll show you the results. So I'll get rid of these, take them out of there, and I'll show you. Well, actually, just quickly, you can see all nicely toned now. And I'll just take them out of here. I'll be back in a sec. Right, so we're back. I've got rid of the toning solution and the clean up solution, and this is what we've got. As you can see, quite nice colours to them. If I stand them up like that, I think you're getting them, aren't you? As you can see, quite nice colours to them. So yeah, hopefully we can get some good toning, some good, well, just a nice look. I'm a bit lost for words. I'm trying to explain. Just a nice look to them. I wanted to get all the dark areas dark, then obviously the lighter areas light. So we've toned them all this colour. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use some Cinechrome polish just on a little bit of sponge. I'm just going to wipe over, and then we'll give them a buff up, and we'll see what kind of effects we can get. Now, you can use other silver polish if you wish. I mean, Silvo, Goddard's, there's loads of different brands and what have you, but I've just got some of this kicking about. So as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see this on camera, it's just taking the top layers. Now the secret is not too hard, just a light push. As you see, we're getting rid of some of that toning. It's leaving like a nice antique finish, like a grey colour to it, like an aged patina look. What we're going for. If you look on the back, it's still quite iridescent, petrol coloured, so let's give it a bit more of a harder rub on the back. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera, but there you go. There you go. So now let's give this a bit of a buff now. I'm trying to keep the cloth, just rubbing it over. Just don't go in the deeper areas. Just so I'm highlighting, the highlights are going to get shone up, so it goes a bit shinier. There we go, that's what we're looking for. That's the effect. Give the back a bit of a rub. Yeah, there we go, we're getting there. So there's number one. We'll give them all a quick another polish after, but again, just the same process again, just on the sponge. Because using the sponge, I've found it doesn't go into the nooks and crannies, it just polishes over and it leaves those dark what we want. So that's the best way I've found of doing it so far. I've tried a toothbrush, but that kind of gets in too much. I mean, you want to get a little bit in, but that's it. I mean, it takes some time, but this is where you want to take the time to get a nice finish, a nice look what you want on the product. Makes a bit of a mess, as you can see. That's because my sponge is starting to disintegrate, but it's doing a job. There you go, silver punk pour number 2. Looking okay. Right, now so let's try Albert. More difficult because there's more lines and raised areas with him. So I might have to take a bit more time, maybe push in a bit harder. And as you can see, it's coming out well, the lines on his face, and it just brings out the details a lot more than just having it plain in silver or plain toned. It just gives you a bit of contrast, and you can see more of the work that's gone into it, into the pour and in the 3D model. As you can see, the back's still quite toned, so let's give that a good rub. Still got his little birthmarks there, the little dimples. I didn't sand them off. You know, if that's how the silver wants to cool, that's how the silver cools. You know, we let it happen. That's it, you know, its own birthmark, as it were, and that's how it's meant to be. There we go. The last one. pleased with him, coming out well. You can see it takes a bit of time, but it's well worth the effort. You just got to be careful not to take too much off, because it defeats the object of the whole toning. You just got to get it just right. Back a nice rub. Right, I'll just get this out of the way in the sponge. Just give that a little wipe. Right, dust out the way. Now I think we just need a bit of a rub. Right, there we go then. I think what I'll do now, I'll have a quick clean down, get a new piece of paper for you, maybe go back on the black, and then I'll take some still photos and you can see a bit more in detail how they've come out, and maybe I'll stamp them up as well. I'll put our numbers on it because it's been our first pours, number 1, number 2, number 3 and number 4. I'll get those stamped up, and then I'll show you the finished, I don't want to say products, but the finished items, what we've got, where we come from and what we got to. So I'll see you in a bit. Right, Silver Punks, I've done all the clean up now, as you've just seen, and this is the finished articles, as it were. As you can see, they've come out pretty well. I thought the toning's done well, and yeah, pretty pleased with the results. Obviously the first pour, as you can see in this next one, the first pour of the skull, we didn't do the impression well enough or deep enough, so that's why it come out a bit poor, a bit thin, and it's that silly bit on the side, as you can see. But that was Silver Punk's first pour, SP1. There it is. The second time we done it, I done a deeper impression, and as you can see, it come out a lot better. Very pleased with that. So I think I can replicate that and do that time and time again now. Now I know how deep it's got to go and the pressure. So that was pour number 2 with the skull mould, so it come out well. Then next we moved on to the Albert Einstein, pour number 3 in total. As you can see, didn't work out. I over poured it, hence why you've got the line down the left hand side, but the features did come out well. So the clay was packed correctly, and the impression was good. It was just the over pour for number 3. And then the next one, number 4, pour number 4 again, he come out okay. Could have been impressed a bit deeper, so I could have got a bigger impression, more of the hair. So not 100% pleased with that one, but it's a work in progress, and it's starting to get there. So as you can see, good detailing on the face. So yeah, not too bad for pour number 4. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys and girls. Thank you.